I mean, I don't have much to say. I will say thank you for coming over here and having this conversation with me. Like I said, it was very eye-opening, and I like the work that you're doing. So just keep doing that. Yeah.
Man, I know I don't know you, man, but I really truly love you, man.
Thank you.
Man, I pray, man, that God will keep drawing you to Himself. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
I love you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, good to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
I would like to, I know you're a little nervous.
Yeah.
So tell me, man, a little bit about who you are and where you're from and your sexual orientation.
Okay, so I'm 23 years old.
Okay.
I go to Georgia State University. I'm originally from South Carolina, but I moved to Georgia whenever I was in like the 5th grade. Sexual orientation is gay.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah. I don't know, what else do I say? I grew up in the church in a sense.
Yeah.
My dad grew up in the church. He went to Catholic school, things of that nature. But like growing up, my parents didn't really force religion or the church onto us.
sir.
But every summer, I would go to South Carolina and I would be with my grandparents. And my grandma, she's very Baptist. She was taking us to the church every Sunday, Wednesday, any day we could go to the church, we're going to the church. So Bible study, things of that nature. Like, so in a sense, I kind of grew up in the church and then I kind of didn't. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So if anybody was asking, like, when did you find out, or when did you discover you had feelings of being gay?
Honestly, I would say I've always known. I mean, that's such the cliche answer, but I feel like from a very young age, probably like whenever, I don't know, grade school, elementary school, like I knew it was something different. Maybe not so called like gay, but I knew it was just something different about me from other young boys or just people that I grew up with, honestly. Yeah.
How would you describe how you feel? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And maybe a weird question. I'm just trying to.
Okay. It's like, how do I describe it? You, for example, whenever you maybe saw a girl or something like that, you knew that's probably like what you wanted.
Yeah.
And whenever I saw a guy, it was just like, okay.
Same emotions.
Yeah, it was the same emotions. Like, I didn't really have that. I felt like I did have it for girls, but not necessarily like in that way, if that makes sense. Like, it was more so like, this is my friend. Like, I know this could be a great friend or something like that, but this person, this guy, maybe I wanted more than that.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But
No, that's okay, man. Appreciate you being willing to do this.
Yeah.
So when would you say you actually came out? Like, should I use that term? Like,
yeah, you
come
can.
out of the closet? Okay.
Okay, so as of right now, honestly, if I'm being very honest with you, I'm not out to my parents. But I'm not. I'm not.
Say that one more time.
I'm not out to my parents.
Oh, your parents don't know?
They don't know.
Okay.
But I, like everybody else in my life, my cousins, my sisters, very close friends. Honestly, you don't even have to be that close to me to know, honestly. Like, I'm gay.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's just like not a conversation that I've had with my parents.
I see.
Yeah.
What makes you not want to have that conversation with them?
Religion. They're religious. Like, they are a little religious. Like, they do have their beliefs. Like, of course, like I said earlier, they didn't force the church onto us, but it was something that I grew up with. Like, they definitely have their values, and they're very conservative in a sense. So
I see what you're saying. You don't want to disappoint them or something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself like being gay for the rest of your life, or you feel like something is maybe a season in your life, or you feel like
I definitely don't think it's anything that's gonna change. Honestly, yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm here. I'm gay.
So you are. Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So here's a theological question. This may be hard to maybe think through this, but do you think that so how do you think you were born? Do you think a person is born gay? Do you think they develop that, or do you think it's just imprinted on them based on what society tells them?
I think, me personally, I think people are born gay.
Okay.
Just because, like, even from a very young age, like I said, I just knew, like, I didn't know it was gay, but I knew that it was something.
I see.
So I feel like even at a young age, my parents didn't tell me about, like, gay people. I didn't see it on the TV like that. Like, if anything, I saw it more so like heterosexual couples. Like, you see the princess and the prince or something like that. It's more so that's what's being put in your face. So for me to have that mindset at such a young age, it's like, where did it come from if nobody put it onto me, if that makes sense? Like, nobody put it onto me. So I feel like with that thought or that logic, you're born gay.
Yeah.
Or at least I was born gay. I don't know about anybody else, but
okay.
Yeah.
Of course, you grew up in church. You know the Adam and Eve story.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, so basically, Two people was in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
God told them, don't eat from this tree. And the day you eat it, you'll surely die. And they ate from the tree. And immediately when they ate from it, they knew what they wanted. They just didn't want what they got.
Mm-hmm.
So they transferred a thing called sin to us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so, and that's why every man in the whole world is affected based on the original sin of Adam and Eve. Right. So for instance, do you think that a person is born with a blank slate? They're born naturally evil, or do you think they're born naturally good?
Well, that's a good question.
It's a good question, right?
Yeah. I feel like, me personally, I feel like everybody is born good.
Okay.
In a sense, just because like, I feel like there's so much that goes into a person becoming evil or becoming a bad person. It's like your surroundings, your environment, what you grow up with, the people that you're around, like that influence you as a person. But whenever you're first coming out the womb, it's like those things, I don't know, like you're so innocent. You don't really know anything, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so here's my kids over there, right? That's my kids over there. That's my wife. So what we need to do is when we make a let's just say we make a hypothesis. Like you make a hypothesis, and then you got to see if the facts back up if that hypothesis is correct, right?
Correct.
So I'll give you a quick hypothesis. So when my kids were born, did you know I never taught them how to steal, and I never taught them how to lie, and I never taught them how to throw a fit. You know that they naturally came out like that.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. But do those things necessarily make you a bad person? The question.
Well,
because some people for the example of like stealing. Right. Some people they could see that in a movie. They could see that on TV.
That's exactly right.
Kids that maybe don't have as much as they need. Like they have to do things to get by and survive. So then they end up stealing.
That's a good
Lying.
point.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
So I don't think a kid is held responsible for the fit that they throw or that they steal until they hear what?
That's wrong. Or,
yes.
Yeah.
Now when they hear it's wrong and then they see the consequences of it, then they can be held accountable.
Right.
If they don't understand it, man, I'm not going to. And I don't even think God, in some ways, holds people accountable that don't really truly understand that they have violated this standard. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the reason why I asked you that is, man, I was born, let me tell you how I was born.
Okay.
I was born with a bent towards, like, I wanted to have sex with every woman I see. Like, that was fine.
Yeah. That
was my sexual sin, is that I wanted to sleep with every fine girl I seen.
Right.
Right? Now, I naturally came out like that.
Right.
But it didn't necessarily make it right.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So when you go back to God, you have to ask yourself, if however God allowed me to be born, then you have to ask yourself, is this the right way to go based on his standard?
Right.
Now, once I understand that it's not his standard, then I'm held even more responsible. But if I don't understand that it is his standard, then of course, like God, I think God is so patient and he's kind and he's gracious, right? So let's just put it on a percentage scale, or let's just say, do you believe in the existence of heaven and hell?
I do.
You do for real? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right, it makes sense. All right, what you thinking?
I was gonna say, like, as I've grown up, in a sense, I have, like, not necessarily questioned God.
Okay.
I've never questioned God, but I've just been going through a process of trying to build my faith, in a sense, because of me as a homosexual man. Like, it is a lot of things that come negative with the Christian church or whatever
it does, man. It does.
So, I've just been trying to build my faith, but I definitely do believe in hell and heaven, or heaven and hell.
Have you received any pushback from people or the church or anything like that?
Not necessarily, no. Okay. I personally haven't, but I feel like even the way that I grew up, in a sense, you always hear like the negative comments about homosexuality and
yes, sir.
You're a Christian, you're this, you're that,
right.
like this is wrong, or homosexuality is ruining the world, things of that nature.
Right.
Like growing up hearing those things, it makes you question, like, dang, what's wrong with me? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Well, the reason why I asked you about heaven and hell is because Like everybody is going to spend eternity somewhere. And I believe I'm with you because Jesus says, "Don't be afraid of those who can kill the body," but He says, "Be afraid of the one who has power to throw body and soul into hell." Like I believe in the existence of heaven and hell because the Bible says Jesus talked about it. He actually talked about hell more than anybody in the whole Bible combined in the New Testament. And so He created the place. He knows. And so I have a tendency to go with the man who rose from the dead based on his history, not just fictitious, right? So let's just say today, Ajani, if today was the last day you had on earth, and you were to stand before God, and I hope you live to be 200.
Okay.
If you had to put your eternity on a percentage scale with 0%, you go to hell, and 100% you get into heaven. Where you feel like you fall? Good question.
That's a good question. I'm gonna say I'm going to heaven.
Okay, all right.
Me personally, I'm gonna say I'm going to heaven. I mean, there's definitely some things I have done that probably aren't the best.
Me too, brother. Cousins.
Probably not the best, but I feel like I would
think you're pretty good.
Yeah.
What if you put it on percent? Would you say 100% or would you say 50-50? Would you say?
If you, I'll say like 65%, 70%, 70%.
So you saying there's a 30% chance if today was the last day you had on earth, you'll go to hell?
Possibly.
Why are you smiling? It's a good question to wrestle with.
It definitely is,
because
for sure.
Eternity is a long time to be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and you see if this is true. I've watched people, like in my family or my friends die, and almost after about a week's time, nobody even mentioned their name again.
Yeah.
It's like life just continued to roll on like he never existed. I'm like,
what's going on? Yeah.
Like, what's the point of life if I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure that after this life is over with, I'm safe on the other side. So and if me and you got up in a plane, Johnny, and I said, Johnny, it's a 70% chance this parachute will work.
Right.
Would you take the jump?
Yeah, I'm taking the jump. 70% chance. That's enough for me. I might survive. I might survive.
Like for fun. If you're doing it for fun, you would just.
For fun. It's just for fun.
It's just for fun.
Like not
it's
like the plane's about to go down. 70% chance this parachute's gonna work.
That's a good point. Well, of course you would take the 70% of the plane is going down, but you wouldn't do it for fun, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it for fun.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What would you want the parachute to be?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, think about that. Is more important is your soul. When your soul leaves this life and go to the next life, you don't want to be like 70%. You want to be 100%.
100%.
Do you know how the Bible says you can be 100%? Can I go over last thing I'll go over with you? Can I show you how the Bible says you can be 100%?
Yeah.